Greetings to all of you, my dear sisters and brothers, and my dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Eddie. Last Saturday, I was not able to do a When a Woman Meets Jesus, and also I'm not able to do it tomorrow. This being said, I'm gonna close up the broadcasting for 2 weeks because I'm traveling to Arizona to work with the homeless in Tempe. So I will be not able to do the broadcasting. But I say it again, this is not the ending of my broadcast program. It just stops for also a couple of days or 2 weeks or so. So today we're going to talk about the ambitious woman. At this point, the mother of the sons of Zebedee arrived with her sons and knelt in front of Jesus to ask him a favor. "What is it you want?" he asked her. "Please say that these 2 sons of mine may sit one on each side of you when you are king." And she said, "Well, you don't know what it is you are asking," replied Jesus to her. Matthew 20, verses 20 to 22. Salome was watching an interested mother, a concerned parent. Her sons had taken up with a carpenter from Nazareth, a day laborer from nowhere named Jesus. Salome began to wonder, is this guy good enough to associate with my boys? Her children were somebody's from somewhere. Their dad, Zebedee, was a man of means, a successful businessman with a sizable staff and his own boat for deep water fishing. Her kids had status and money, and Salome didn't want them settling for less than the best. So she watched. Who was Jesus? Was he big enough for her family? If the crowds that followed him were any indication, Jesus did seem to be popular. But anyone who could turn plain water into wine or feed 5,000 people with 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish was bound to be popular. So Salome kept watching, and as the crowd grew, her hopes soared. This man might be the longed-for deliverer, the man who would release Judea from the dominion of the Roman tyranny. And if Jesus truly was the one people thought he might be, and if he established a new government, just find what it would meant for her family, and especially her boys. If they had the inside track to Jesus, direct access to King, a hotline to the palace. These were the thoughts that began to roll around in Solomon's head. Her small ideas grew into grandiose plans. Walking a dusty road with Jesus turned into a highway to the throne. Yes, I think we can agree. Salome had ambitious plans. But what's more, Salome was willing to put her money where her mouth was. Once Salome had the money thing going for her, she had one thing left to do. She had to maneuver to get Jesus alone. She wanted to speak with him one-on-one. She would use all her charms of persuasion to ask him for a favor. How could he deny her, a mother, a request on behalf of her children? And finally, the right moment arrived, and like a viper, Solomon struck. "When you become the king, please put one of my boys on your right side and the other on your left. In other words, when you become the chairman of the board, make one of my boys president and the other the CEO." Salome didn't want her children to have to start at the bottom and work their way up. She wanted the top spots for her boys. Successful children would be a feather in her cap, a highlight on the family resume. Her friends would be jealous. Power, fame, and wealth, all rolled up together. Just think what it would mean. With eager anticipation, Salome waited, hoping Jesus would give her exactly what she had asked. But to her surprise and disappointment, he didn't. The man who carries a map. Salome was not prepared for Jesus' response, for it was not what she had expected or wanted to hear. Salome, you don't know what you are asking for. You have no idea where your request is going to take you and your family. Like a glass of cold water being tossed in her face, Salome was giving a reality check. But Jesus did it for her own good. He knew something Salome did not. Her priorities were not in the right place. He knew the road she was on would not take her where she really wanted to go. And Jesus knew that deep in her heart, what Salome really wanted for her children was a life filled with purpose. That's because Jesus knew Salome better than she knew herself. She had proven by her example that she too was a follower of Jesus. She walked with him, she believed his message, and his call to serve had taken root in her heart. Since Jesus knew Salome and her family would never find their way into his kingdom, going down a road paved by pleasure and ease, instead of giving Salome what she initially asked for, Jesus gave her what she needed, a roadmap, clearly marked with directions to his kingdom. And then he invited Salome to come on a journey with him, but she had to revise her expectations of the trip. Salome, Jesus told her, on the road to my kingdom you'll meet a king, but look closely. The crown he wears will be made of thorns. He won't be sitting on a throne. You'll see him kneeling like a servant, and if your boys follow his path, it will lead them through the valley of exile and martyrdom. You might think that honesty like this would scare Salome away, but it didn't. This mother who wanted earthly greatness for her children chose to lead by example and accept Jesus' offer of heavenly service. And if we follow the path Salome chose for herself, we will find her in an upper room, serving dinner to Jesus and his disciples. We will be present as this astonished mother watches Jesus bend down like a common servant and wash 12 pairs of dirty feet. We will follow Salome as she stands at the cross on a hill, surrounded by jeering Roman soldiers and an unrepentant thief. And in the early morning hours, we will walk with her to the tomb that contains an angelic message to a mother whose example served to mark the path Salome's boys chose to take. And no wonder Salome's son John never complained when exiled to the island to Patmos. No wonder her son James never turned from the road that led to his martyrdom. This mother had shown her boys what really counted in life. So what is our need? And his response, where are you going? What will you receive when you arrive at your destination? Like hidden treasure, these questions lie buried in Jesus' response to Salome because they force each of us to reassess our priorities. Am I headed in the right direction? And in the end, will I find a reward that satisfies me more than a fleeting moment? Start with God. The first step in learning is bowing down to God. Pay close attention and never forget what you learn at your mother's knee. And I will end this with affirmation. Anyone who intends to come with me has to lead me, has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat. I am. Don't run from suffering, embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way. My way to finding yourself, your true self. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones, and I say it again, it's not the ending of my broadcasting, so we will meet again in a couple of weeks. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yeti. Bye.